Starting on the path of enlightenment is the start of a new journey. This journey will be lifelong. The following analogy is just one way that the spiritual life could be presented to those who are trying to understand their spiritual life. I would like you to think of and compare the spiritual path to the levels of progress of the first 7 grades of elementary school. First grade is learning to leave home, to be away from the parenting influence. This is a frightening experience for most people. It can be related to those leaving the church teachings, those comfortable, homey teachings, and coming under a teacher they have never known before. But just like a child entering the first grade, a great big, wide, wonderful world begins to open up for them. The second grade is then entered. This is where the child is taught to work in groups, to cooperate and blend and harmonize to a fuller extent than he could in first grade. The teachings are furthered by organizing little study groups that come together about every 3 weeks and then exchange bits and pieces of their stories. The children in the second grade basically learn harmony with others. The third grader is beginning to realize that he or she is different from all those others. There are always little squabbles going on at recess on the playground. They must learn just how far they can go to express their newfound individuality. The third grade is one of the most important grades in the stages of growth, not only for grade school children, but also for all humanity in the overall path. The fourth grader again works back towards getting along with others, accepting the fact that Bobby is better than he at drawing, or Janie can read faster. But a wise teacher will try to bring out one main activity in each student that can be developed more in this one than in others. This fourth grade stresses self-esteem and the value of each member as far as his contributions to the whole grade. Fifth graders are the most loving of all classes in school. They are back to learning after the summer vacation and realize they are truly glad to be together. The teacher draws on this togetherness and has them demonstrate to the younger grades how well they get along. They may not make as much progress as other grades, but they settle in and become part of all the knowledge and learning gained thus far. Those in the sixth grade are struggling with their individuality. They sense that they are on the brink of new discoveries. This stage is one of great growth and discovery of what one's own self is really all about and should be encouraged by their teachers. Sixth graders are at a crucial point in their development as loving individuals and are at the critical point as far as having self-esteem ingrained into their being. The move to the seventh grade at last. Doubts and uncertainties abound in this grade, but they are gaining self-confidence. These seventh graders make excellent teachers' helpers. In fact, this should be encouraged and instigated into our school systems. Even the Creator God himself would benefit from all this, believe me, because he would have that many more new creative ideas being put forth into the atmosphere. As far as guidelines for beginners, one cannot fly as a butterfly if one is in the grub stage. There is a time to shed this stage and be free to soar and go from flower to flower like a butterfly. That's when you will be able to stretch your mind with the wonder of things. Quit worrying about everything. Live each day at a time. Trust in your Creator for the future. Do your very best each and every day, and let your thoughts soar to your eternal home. You will widen your horizons, and the light will start pouring through you. Following are the 7 guidelines for beginners. Number 1. It may seem at times that much knowledge is being kept secret. This is not so. If you don't know it yet, you're not ready for it yet. When you are ready, it will come. Number 2. Experience is the best teacher. If you get hurt, you'll not do it again. Even though it was very painful, you'll grow from it, and this is the goal after all. Number 3. You must not, cannot lean on others or judge others. They will progress at their own pace and make their own mistakes. If you depend on them to help you, you are slowing their progress, and this is against universal law. Number 4. Remember that it is all within you. It's not out there somewhere. It is not something over which you have no control. No matter how shocking, it is within you. It is you, your past lifetimes coming forward. Yes, you really did do all those things. Number 5. When it's time to begin a new cycle of life, it only slows your evolutionary progress to deny this fact. It should begin when it is time. Number 6. For one, music might open the door. For another, it may be painting. But you can be sure that the key to this door will be some form of self-expression. This is universal law. Number 7. The most important and hardest for all to grasp is that what we have learned in the past cannot be accepted as absolute. We must be open to constantly changing what we think is the truth. This goes for all aspects of life, from religion to health, from the law of physics to the way we give birth. It could and will all change. The energy of God never stops, and therefore nothing can be static. It is time to move on. Each stage of evolvement for humanity must change. It cannot possibly stay in the same mold that it has been. It must continue to change. The Creator's world is changing constantly at every second. How can people believe that they can just stand still? They cannot. Progress has been made, and more will be made. The more that awaken at this time, the faster this progress will be made, and the diseases and sicknesses of humanity will then have a better chance of being eased. There is a loosely structured path that can be followed to help us with our spiritual growth. The following will give you an idea of the path for the individual. The first stage is developing a conscience. The second stage is that of controlling the emotions. The third stage is that of sexual magic exploration. The fourth stage is where all are stuck in the various branches of the churches. This is why planet number 4, Earth, has to be experienced over and over again before one is ready to move on. This is a stage humanity is in, experiencing over and over again the different branches of churches before moving on to the stage of intelligence on their own. The fifth stage is that of metaphysical groups, a necessary bridging phase between religion and the use of the intelligent mind. The sixth stage is that of intelligence and blazing new trails alone. The seventh stage is that of the total synthesized divine man. The totally synthesized human being will not have frown lines in his face. He will exult in his very presence on the earth plane because he will be aware of what a privilege it is, a reward for a job well done the last time. The guidelines for reincarnation are being tightened up by the hierarchy of the planet Earth. In the future, it will not be as easy as it is now to be allowed entry into a physical form. You will have to earn it, and therefore it will be much more appreciated. It will be a carryover memory that will make life on the earth plane a spiritual fulfillment from the time of birth, even before the time of birth. In other words, the spiritual progress made on the inner planes will determine the re-entrance of the entity onto the earth plane. This simply must be done because evolution must keep pace with the rhythm of the universe. This is the attitude, that of the hallowedness of physical plane life, that must and will prevail once the earth is cleansed of bad attitudes. It must be started now. This is not to say that people don't care if others live or die. They do that with our doctors and hospitals and medical research. It is the quality of that life that needs to be raised and made better. As it is now for a lot of humanity, they cannot possibly have a feeling of gratitude and thankfulness for a chance at physical plane life, because for some it is truly a horrible experience. This has to be eliminated. Therefore, until the quality of the experience on the earth is improved, there will be less atomic matter made available for physical forms. This will be seen on earth as more miscarriages and abortions and crib deaths and sterility. When you read about a rash of any of these, you will know that this is what must come. This will teach those wanting to enter the earth plane to value life more. It will also teach those already on earth to value a child much more if they have a struggle to go through before they have one. It is the same as the law of supply and demand. An oversupply of anything makes the value of it less. When it becomes scarce, the value placed on it is immediately raised. This must come about. Know that it is part of the plan when you hear of it taking place. Balance in all areas is the ultimate goal to achieve the ultimate synthesized person, a perfect spiritual reflection of the Creator. This is the start of the new culture that has been predicted for so long. This is the goal, the new culture, the new energy that will encircle the earth and lift her high to take her place in the shape of the universe. Yes, the shadow of the fourth dimension is moving across the earth, and the new culture is imminent. The beautiful souls who are to inhabit and be part of and form this new culture are simply not ready. This fact, more than anything else, should cause people to look at what they are doing and where they are standing in the overall picture of progress. There should be no fear of admitting metaphysical knowledge into our lives. Miracles in the Bible were metaphysical events. Even today, the spiritual healing that is done is a metaphysical event. The praying that is done is a metaphysical event. The inventions that help us are metaphysical events. Why then should we deny new teachings when they come through, as they are also metaphysical events? It is time we put aside our fear and acknowledge these facts if we are to move forward on our spiritual path. The new teachings will benefit people seeking to become better people by allowing them to ponder on the fact that they are not alone in this universe, that there is structure to their path and definite goals ahead to continually strive for. By knowing the truths of creation and evolution, one can begin to look at their own body as an integrated universe. It is patterned after perfection of the large universe, which begins and ends with the Creator. So also does the human body begin and end within its own self. In other words, it is self-contained. Everything one needs is inside them. The ultimate benefit that will come from studying the new teachings will be that of allowing people to finally understand their dual nature. This is a very important understanding. One needs to know just what is controllable by the mind as far as body functions go, if the soul is in control of the body. They need to understand that without allowing the growth of the soul to take place, that they are not much higher on the evolutionary pole than the animals. They need to understand that in denying this spirit within them, they are committing a crime in the eyes of the Creator, who gave them this gift to raise them above the workings of the animal brain. They need to understand that someday the animals will evolve to the same stage as a human who is not expressing the soul. When they begin to understand this, they will begin to look at life differently and will be much more willing to stay on the spiritual path of progress. It will instill in them the desire to progress when they realize what they are denying, when they do not contact their inner being. The Creator does not know how to raise the consciousness of future generations. He does not know. This is a big problem for him. It is him, that is in the bodies expressing, and it is his problem to come up with a solution as to how to help himself. The same as you would have to come up with a solution to help yourself if you had cells in your body that were not behaving. The following is some of the things he has come up with to help with this problem. If you overreact to the statement that the Creator does not know how to raise the consciousness, then we would say that your overreaction leads us to wonder if you still believe to a certain extent in a large fatherly figure who is going to take care of everything for you, instead of believing wholeheartedly in the path of self-responsibility. We suggest you examine your thoughts on this. The following is a guideline on what an individual can do to get started on the spiritual path. What is needed is a period of meditation, of just sitting quietly and listening to the little voice within you. Next would be an actual session of sitting down and talking to yourself and answering yourself as to why you feel a certain way about a certain person, or why someone's attitudes affect you thusly. This would be a good review, a good meditation to take upon yourself before you retire for the evening. For instance, say you had a bad experience with a certain person that day, and as you are retiring, you go into this period of reflection before you drop off to sleep. You try very, very hard to figure out what you did to cause the problem, or what they did that triggered the reaction in you. Then, when you fall asleep and go to the inner planes, you will receive illumination on this subject, this disagreement. The next morning, when you have your quiet meditation, this illumination should come forward if you are truly sitting in silence, listening for the God within. This would be one step that all beginning seekers and searchers could begin practicing right now. Not only the period of silent meditation in the morning, but this review or reflection before retiring in the evening. This is not easy to do when you're in a busy, bustling family. How you work it out is your concern, but if your search is serious enough, you will find a way to accomplish both of these. There can be no excuse accepted, such as "I don't have time to do either of those," because this should tell you that you are not quite ready for this step. This review of attitudes is a personal thing. You all have a good idea of what some of your bad attitudes are. This will make you become more aware. Then this will reflect in your daily actions. Perhaps a similar circumstance will creep into your daily existence maybe a week later. You won't be quite so quick to react as you did the week before, because of the reflection, the illumination that came as a result of that particular instance. This would be a step that would be a feeling of progress. This is what the path, the search consists of, these little tiny baby steps. Humanity is in a hurry. They want to do it all now. They want to take a giant leap, and it's not going to work that way, dear souls. It is not. It is a long, hard struggle, a slow tortoise speed, not a kangaroo jump. Until now, progress for both humanity as a whole and man as an individual has been stopped. Before humanity as a whole can be taken any further on his evolutionary journey, those in the higher planes must place their hope on a few individuals who do not accept the church as a final authority. These people will have the courage to move past church teachings and blaze new trails leading to the use of the intelligent mind. These people will be able to tie together all past experiences collectively and individually and use them to balance themselves out to being synthesized, totally divine beings, surely the same as the example given in the Christ many long years ago.